Instead, we have Colby, one of our senior ad strategists, and Regina, the managing director of StarterPPC. And we want to ask Regina how she does what she does. How come she's so good at what she does with her accounts for StarterPPC? So when did that kick off? That's been open for about a year now, StarterPPC, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's about exactly a year, because I think we started in February and then maybe got our first client in March of 2022.
Yeah. And just correct me if I'm wrong, it's only smaller budget clients, isn't it? So just clients that are $5,000 or less a month, isn't it?
Right. Does YouTube show us when people are here with us, or are there people here with us now?
It doesn't look like. We are live.
Huh. Yeah, I don't see where it would show us who's here.
Yeah, we should see the chat overlay coming up for any chats. Yeah, so once people start typing there, we don't know how many are here.
Oh, so there might be people watching, but not. Oh,
yeah,
there's people.
There you go. We are here. Oh no, there's 9 people.
Like a seance when you're sitting around the table. We're asking if anyone's here because we can't see.
Is anyone here? It's just us three. We're just talking amongst ourselves.
Yeah, so it's been fun. PPC builders. Yeah. PPC started because Solutions 8, well, we used to have a minimum budget threshold at Solutions 8 of $2,000. And they wanted to change it to $5,000 as the minimum. Because honestly, it's very tough when the budgets are under 5. So Solutions 8 changed it to 5. And then what started happening is we were having to turn away so many people. I don't know who came up with the idea. It was not me, but the idea was, well, we've already found all these small businesses who have budgets under 5 and we've paid for them. You know, we're running ads. We've paid for these leads. And so let's try to help them and see if we can get them to a place where their budgets are 5,000 and they can work with Solutions 8. So that's where StarterPPC started. I kind of like raised my hand at some point because I was looking for a challenge. So that's what happened. I was like, pick me. And yeah.
Regina, I was just going to ask you too, because you raised your hand. What do you think motivated you and what attracted you to work with the smaller clients?
Yeah. At that point, I've always been, okay, that's an interesting, there's a lot of answers. I've always been attracted to working with like small businesses and also startups. And I had at that point a lot of experience doing it because many reasons. Like I started out, I can't keep track of like all the 6 reasons in my head at once. So let's just see if they all come to me. Like I started out working with really, really small businesses when I was helping people get on board with like Infusionsoft. Like I talked to like 300 clients over the 2 years that I was there, new customers of that software. And I was just like telling them how to set up a newsletter. Like this was back in the day, right? Just like, this is how you build a newsletter. And I would just help them build it. And I remember just being like, small businesses make the world go around. Like they're what keeps the economy healthy. And I think my dad is a small business owner, so maybe I had some empathy for them there. But also it's just my style. I'm not a very naturally diplomatic person. And I feel that when you're working with like layers of like hierarchies of people at a larger company, you often have to have a different demeanor, something that I really didn't feel, that I was naturally fit for. So I always oftentimes like in the early days when I was a client manager, bigger clients would come in and I would actively be like, don't give me those clients, because I don't like talking to them because I feel like I'm too much of a nitty-gritty startup-y person. How much money would you spend? Carson is asking. How much money would you spend on Performance Max if you had no conversions until you would stop the campaign? If you're running e-commerce. So you're an e-commerce business and you're wondering how much would you spend on Performance Max if you have no convert? Well, what are you selling, Carson? Like what's your average cost per, average order value.
I'd also just be, have you been getting conversions in the past before as well? Because there could be a problem with your conversion action.
Yeah,
is it a brand new account? Yeah, there's a lot of questions there. But if you're getting no conversions, if you had an account that was getting conversions, say you had standard shopping or something like that, and all of a sudden you're getting no conversions in Performance Max, is it an e-com Performance Max campaign? What's running alongside it? Maybe even just rather than having a Performance Max campaign with asset groups fully built out, maybe put a feed only in there. Just see if you can just go after shopping only, because shopping is generally going to get you better conversions anyway. But yeah, there's a fair few layers to that question, Carson.
And a little bit more. If you think about it, if your average order value is like a $40 product, then it's only going to cost a fraction of that to get the $40 sale. If your average order value is $300, right? It's going to cost a fraction of that to get the sale. So you're going to get, with the same budget, depending on what you're selling, you could get 50 sales a month or 1 sale a month. And so that's how like drastically different it can be from industry to industry. So he says, I'm selling a product around $30 to $50. No, it's not a new site, but the conversion action works. I'm just wondering what your testing strategy looks like.
To me, that happened to me, like 30 to 50, let's say the upper echelon, like if we just went a little bit higher, 50 to 100. And if I was running that for a few days, yeah, $30 a day. Like, I think after a few days, I would start to, the alarms go off and say, is something going on here? And I would start to reverse engineer, look at my conversion actions. If conversions aren't popping up, say you looked in GTM, they're firing, and maybe you're running like a branded campaign and they're firing there. Perhaps something's going on with PMax. You could try to break that campaign out, but with such a small budget, and if you're not running anything else, like through other mediums, it might not be worthwhile. I think you'd have to look at your asset groups. I really think that's probably the first place to start. Look at who you're targeting and look at what image assets you have, video assets, and see what you can do to help move things along.
Just on that, follow up on that question, Regina, because you're with StarterPPC, you would have a lot of accounts that are running these smaller daily budgets, wouldn't you? And it's what's your go-to strategy when you're doing that and you're running a Performance Max? What's your go-to strategy if you've got an account that's running small daily budgets?
Yeah, if we were to get a new account with no history and it's an e-commerce client where the average order value is like $40 and the budget is $1,000, it's going to be slow to get the ball rolling. And as far as a strategy, I will say we've gone back and forth between either PMax feed only and starting with standard shopping and trying to move into PMax later. And I have yet to see rhyme or reason around which one works better. Like, honestly, I don't have a pattern. And that's why we keep kind of switching our strategy, because I think that sometimes you can try PMax feed only and it just gets it and it starts and it goes and it's fine. And so oftentimes we'll start with that and we'll move back to standard shopping if PMax isn't understanding it. It's highly automated. So you're kind of relying on the algorithm. You know what it is? One of the things that kind of helps sway me towards one campaign type over the other is if your products are really easily understood by the algorithm. Like, if you're selling just, what's a good example? You're selling something really straightforward, like blankets or whatever. The algorithm knows exactly what to sell and who to sell it to. It's pretty straightforward. If you're selling like high-end clothing, and I don't know why I picked that as an example, or like industrial tape for construction workers, sometimes there's this niche within the industry that the algorithm isn't going to understand right away until it has lots of data. that's where you probably want to control it with standard shopping. Whereas if you're just running a product that like the algorithm is going to like get it, then you can maybe start with PMax feed only and then move into full PMax someday when your budget is like much bigger, like at over 5,000 at least.
Let's have a look at this question from Arms of Andes. We're about to launch a PMax campaign with a new strategy using same audience signal and only differentiate our asset groups by copy, pictures, and product, of course. Any suggestions? Colby, what do you think?
Hold on, I need to digest this one more time.
If we are about to launch PMax campaign with a new strategy using the same audience signals and only differentiating our asset groups by copy, pictures, and product, of course, any suggestions? With a new strategy, the new strategy being the new assets?
Oh, I presume that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, sorry, I don't know why it took me so long to digest that. But for me, I like to always just, test. So you go in, you launch this campaign, and then you want to take a look. And not right this second, but Google is saying that sooner or later, we're going to be able to see asset group performance. So we really have to cross our fingers and hope that's coming soon. Other than that, you're going to just have to look at the insights and see what different placements and everything's performing best. And basically just see what you can learn from that. I mean, if you're able to differentiate by like landing page with asset group, you might be able to cheat the system a little bit and look at analytics to see where these users are coming from. And then you can determine if you want to start building different PMax campaigns out and isolating them towards that asset group, perhaps giving it more budget. But I think the first thing is always just starting, seeing how that performance is doing, isolating it to whatever the most successful piece of that strategy is, and then trying to scale it.
We had an account where we did a very similar strategy. We created 3 asset groups. The only differentiation in 3 asset groups is we were targeting like a different industry. One was like for tech heads, so the copy was all about technology and it was a technology product we were marketing. The asset group had copy around technology. The second one was about the product itself. It was a technology product in the sunglass range, so we just targeted sunglasses. And then the third one we did other copy around I think lifestyle. And so then we ran that for 30 days and we used the Mike Rhodes script to see the impressions and the clicks and the conversion value between the 3 asset groups. And we had one clear winner. It was the technology asset group. So we just paused the other 2, duplicated that one, did the copy, and then we started split testing that. And so we were just playing off the best copy against each other. So that's a way that you could also use the asset groups, get your data. That script, Mike Rhodes, otherwise you won't see it. But on Colby's point, we will have, well, theoretically, we're supposed to be getting all this data inside the asset groups. That'll make things easier just in the Google Ads interface anyway.
And I think it's a common complaint probably from all of us advertisers. Like, how do you scale and grow PMax when it's so mysterious? So this is one piece that's going to help us. And then we won't have to make so many guesses.
Joe King, where do you set target CPA and ROAS in relation to actual targets? I've been setting target CPA and ROAS for high bids, which results in better performance usually. Do you ever set them for lower bids?
So one thing you want to watch out for is if you have a high ROAS or a low TCPA, you're restricting the algorithm to tell it, don't even bid unless you can get me this type of conversion, this type of return. So you're setting a really strict leash and a really high goal, or low in the case of CPA. So what happens is the algorithm's knowledge kind of atrophies when you have that on for too long. It's nice for a short period of time, but what happens is it stops trying new things. It only bids if it knows it can get that return, or at least it tries to. That's what should happen. It doesn't always happen, but But so you want to keep that on for short periods, like when you really need to hit goals, and kind of go back and forth between like performance mode of having a strict CPA or target and learning mode where you let it, you know, especially if you have a lot of products or whatever, like there's a lot of different pockets of the market for it to constantly learn about. Yeah. So yes, we often set them with lower bids. Yeah.
Okay, how big is the role of brand in the success of Google Ads campaigns? We are a construction company, just launched a new specific kit, build it yourself, brand, PMax campaigns running, low quality. Well, obviously, the more well known the brand, the better it's going to perform, because Google when you've got a brand, it already goes, well, we know that brand relates to that audience. If you're a brand new brand that's unknown to one, Google, and two, to the general audience in general, it's going to take more time for Google to learn, okay, who is the type of audience that we need to deliver this traffic to. That's where the more conversion data you have, depending on what your conversion action is. I would presume, Kasaba, sorry if I butcher your name, I'm presuming that you're going to be looking after or going after leads. So it's all about the quality of the leads that you're feeding Google. That will depend on how the quality of, is Google going to keep going after the right audience?
Yeah, and if you're selling a very expensive product, which I don't exactly know how much a kit costs, but I assume you're selling all the material to build something, so it's probably really pricey.
Yep.
You're going to have trust issues with your leads. So if it's a new brand, I would start pumping out a YouTube video every single day and put those YouTube videos into a video remarketing campaign and put them into an email campaign, an automated email sequence as well. And, you know, try to have like a lead magnet to get people on that email sequence, because, you know, you're going to have a long sales cycle if you're selling something expensive. So it just depends, but brand could mean a variety of things. I just think video is going to be your friend in this case, because it's like the biggest impact as far as all the brand activities you could be doing.
Another strategy, and Colby and I manage an account at the moment. It's a lead generation company. So there's a lead generation, an opt-in form, you know, there's the product or whatever, opt-in. So there's the lead, okay? But what they then do is they have another conversion action that says, yes, this is a qualified lead, because not every lead's going to be a qualified lead. So then they feed back into the system. So we've got two conversion actions. One's just a normal opt-in for the form.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's another conversion action that they manually go, yes, that of those leads we got, this one was a qualified lead. So that then feeds that back into that conversion action. That's the conversion action that we're going to use to optimize the ads for, not the opt-in form. So if you can somehow feed back into another conversion action the qualified lead or the conversion, and you could say, Google, I want you to optimize for this conversion action, not for the lead opt-in, you should be able to get better quality leads as well.
I just want to add one last point as we go into this too, with what Regina was saying. You know, with the new brand, you will do your retargeting and do everything that you can to prove that you're legitimate. I think video is a really good source for that. And I think trying to find some ways to add some social proof within there. So I know within that vertical or industry, you might not necessarily be able to have like the perfect testimonial, but if you can try to integrate reviews or past customers within your videos to show that you're reliable and trustworthy, I think that's a nice formula to start driving a little more leads and then giving you a little more credibility behind your brand.
Yeah,
I hope that helps.
I just saw a message from Colin. He used to work for us.
Oh, you're jumping down the line?
Sorry, I saw my name. It's good to see you, Colin. Well, not see you. It's good to have you see me.
All right, Carson, the problem with shopping is a lot of search traffic. That's why I tried PMax first. Yes. You could always do a PMax feed only and put a DSA in there as well. The thing with DSA and is you got more control over search, putting in negatives and negative placements and things like that.
Yeah, PMax is kind of hit or miss. So is DSA. Mm-hmm. But if you're finding that PMax isn't working for you, then you can still do all the activities that PMax does. You just have to break it out into a bunch of little campaigns, right? So like if we're running standard shopping, we always run remarketing separate because standard shopping doesn't have any remarketing. So we set up a display remarketing separate from a video remarketing, separate from the standard shopping, separate from if we want to do search or DSA, that's separate. Right. So PMax does all these things in one and it's hit or miss. So if you try it for a few weeks, it's not working, switch to the other idea.
All right. 2-stage from Guy. Google rep and industry manager, not a teleperformance rep, is claiming that not adding assets to PMax will result in Google pulling images from our site for display ads. He's not talking about e-com product images from the feed, which do get used, but actual images not connected to our feed, like editorial shots. Any truth to this?
I was listening to Google's most recent, was it a podcast or video? And so I can't answer this question directly, but I can answer it indirectly, where I heard if you want to limit the use or limit the instances of Google basically creating automated ads for you, you need to upload as much assets as you possibly can. And then you don't have to worry about Google grabbing images from your site or creating videos. They didn't get into the specifics though of that. They just said, if you don't want that to happen, more assets, the better.
We haven't found a way to do feed only or shopping only and completely restrict the algorithm from just grabbing stuff. It does happen, but it's usually not a huge chunk of the budget, right?
No. You can generally see what the breakdown is inside the Google reports. You can grab you create 2 reports under the top right where it says reports, and you'll create a shopping MCID for the Performance Max campaign and have a look at the metrics, and then just do a campaign report just for the Performance Max and compare the two. And if you've just got a feed only and 99.8% of all the spend is going to shopping, then you can safely assume that, yep, most of this is going to shopping.
Yeah, I should cover my tracks and say that we still do confidently use feed only, and it can serve the purpose of what we need for shopping.
But that's not to say that, I mean, it's Google's algorithm. They can just flick a switch and then next
if
week.
they want to add some photos of your website in there, it could happen.
Yeah, I've seen them add really crappy headlines and descriptions, like usually one headline and one description into the feed only campaigns. And you can find that when you go to the asset group, the empty asset group, and you click like view assets, you'll just see them sitting in there, like spending a little bit of money. But I've never seen an image in there. So I don't know. I would assume they'd show up alongside the headlines and descriptions if it did pull an image, but who knows?
There is a script I saw where someone had created a script that you can run that automatically runs daily and automatically strips out anything that was automatically created by Google with YouTube ads and images. Don't know where it was. Yeah, it was on LinkedIn. It was a couple of weeks ago, but still, it's not the ideal situation, but yeah.
That's cool.
Keep crushing it, Regina.
Colin was the 3rd person I attempted to train, and he was the most joyous to train because he came in already knowing everything. So I barely had to do anything. I was just like, here's the manual. Good luck. Goodbye.
See you later. Best training ever. Kasaba leads. Yeah. So, like I said before, mate, you're going to have a lead generation form there for people going to contact you, or it might be a phone call. But see if you can create another conversion action, and you feed the quality of that lead. Was that a quality lead? Yes, it was. And then, that's the best way to do it. I think Zapier's got an option where you can do that. I'd be just Googling that to find out how you can automatically feed using Zapier to feed in that other conversion action.
Yeah.
And I think CRMs do it as well. Like if you have like like anything like that, you can just plug it right in.
Guy, another 2-step question. Different rep claim that running PMax with URL expansion on will increase the likelihood that ads get delivered on search placements as opposed to just shopping placements. In other words, if you're really trying to use PMax for straight up shopping, turn expansion off. Any thoughts on this claim?
Seems logical to me because with URL expansion on, it's not just going to be able to use the product landing pages that it finds in the feed. It's going to be able to use things like the homepage or the contact us page or whatever. And so it's going to, I don't know, probably encourage it to do non-product related searches like brand searches and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that feels, I feel that sentiment.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, best approach when an e-com account has bad results for 2 months and nothing seems to work anymore. High ticket products, should we just stop touching it and wait? What are your thoughts, Colby?
I had a feeling you were going to come to me.
Gives me time to think about an answer too.
I can just start yammering, and then Glenn can steer the ship back on course if I take you somewhere odd. But to me, forgive me for being critical, 2 months seems like a long time. I try not to be neurotic, but I am in the good sense. But I like to keep a close eye on my performance, and if something isn't ticking within that first, if you're spending less budget, like say it's something more in like Regina's territory, maybe it's a week or two. But if it's a high budget, after a couple of days, if I'm not seeing results, I start to question what's going on. And so you just do that reverse engineering of, okay, is my tracking working? Okay, tracking set, that's good. Let's go to the product feeds, good. And then you just start deconstructing and looking at your landing page. Then you start looking, this is a little bit outside of like Google Ads specifically, but like looking at your offer, looking at your hook, looking at everything surrounding that, and then your campaign, and then ensuring that everything you're doing, if there's any other methods you could do, like I am always testing and experimenting. And if I find one method not working, I'm basically duplicating that campaign and trying something else. And until I find something that sticks, that's where the budget's going to go once I start to see those numbers tick up. And then you slowly just pause what isn't working.
I'd also be looking at the store conversion rate of all traffic as well. So if you've got a conversion rate in your, just say you got a Shopify store and your conversion rate's 2.5%. Okay, that's our benchmark. What's Google Ads doing? 1.1. Okay, that means Google Ads underperforming the benchmark of your store. If your store is 1.1, then that's a conversion rate issue. That means that you've got to somehow tweak your offer, tweak the landing page, tweak the product page to try and increase that conversion rate. Look inside analytics at the conversion rate, look inside the Shopify store at the conversion rate. It might not just be Google Ads, it actually might be a conversion rate problem. But yeah, if no one's buying, go into all your conversions. Are they firing? Go through a whole transaction, set up Microsoft Clarity and watch what people are doing. Watch the recordings. Where are people bouncing? So see if you can start finding out, why are people not buying my product? Watch people and watch the recordings and the heat maps, because there's got to be a reason why. That's what I'd be doing.
I also just want to add, depending on the specifics here, like if your budget's real small and your high ticket products are really expensive, you could be expecting 1 lead a month. Like we've had accounts like that where they come in with $1,000 and they sell $50,000, B2B installation things and so we get like 1 lead a month and that's enough to fuel the business. So I mean, that's a very extreme example, but it could be the 2 months is kind of a drop in the bucket depending on things. And also that, if you're selling B2B stuff, then keep in mind it's going to take people like 3 weeks to like source all of the options and go get their boss's credit card. And like when the timing is right, they will buy. And so the sales cycle can be a good chunk of those 2 months.
It could be a long consideration phase too for the product, especially ones that they're not impulse buys. So make sure your conversion action too is maxed out. Make your click-through window 90 days, your view through 30, and your engaged view 30. So try and open that window up as wide as you can so that Google can at least get some attribution, even if they buy 20 or 30 days down the track.
Yeah, so I'm adding one more thing. So I would say if it is a high ticket item, it's really valuable if you can try and know what that cost per acquisition is, even if it isn't specific to Google Ads. It's just a number that they have. You can take a look and say, okay, well, how much have I spent on advertising so far? And if I've gotten X amount of leads, like, is this comparable? Maybe it's like a $2,500 cost per acquisition, but you're spending $20 a day, just to go into kind of what Regina was saying. So all things to consider. Yeah,
there's a lot of answers to that question.
Yeah.
Xaba. Awesome suggestion. Thanks for the advice. Our pleasure. Emmanuel, also, what do you do when the whole market is down, reduce budget drastically? How do you stay afloat and not ruin the campaigns?
Reduce budget drastically.
There you go.
If you're dealing with seasonality and you've got major market size swings in the market size, I don't know that there's too many other options besides adjusting to the new market size for the next few months.
Yep.
But maybe
another way you could do to reduce your spend is if you've got a smart bidding objective set in your campaign, bump it up. It'll reduce the spend, and you're basically saying, I want more for my money. It'll reduce your spend, but Google will try and get you that return. It's just like reverse scaling. Okay. Happy to make it one of those. Thanks, guys, from Guy. Right. Let's have a look here. Go Jump. A competitor is constantly able to put an advert on our GMB profile. I can't find a neat way to put an advert on our GMB profile for one of our own products. Any ideas?
Oh, like local campaigns.
Yeah. Performance back is looking after all that now.
Yeah, local campaigns used to be a campaign type, and then Google got rid of them, and now the only way to run local campaigns is what? Through discovery ads and PMax and other automated types like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there's not as much control as there used to be, but if you're running one of those, like a discovery or a full PMax with assets, make sure that your GM profile is connected to Google Ads, and it'll just automatically spend money on the local, listing. But there's, where do you see that? How much money is being spent on the GMB? There's a way.
In the assets under where the old extensions used to be.
Oh, extensions. You go into the asset group, edit it, and go down on the left side to extensions, and you can see it in there.
Yep. The modern metal songwriter. As someone who's recently joined the StarterPPC waitlist, is there any campaigns I should be running to start gathering conversion data before that list opens up? We've had much success with Facebook. There you go. Here's a question for you, Regina.
Honestly, the waitlist is not that long right now. So my fear is if you get started, you'll only be scratching the surface before you get an email from our onboarding manager, Jessica, in probably a few days. So I don't know if you'll have time to set something up, but yeah, I mean, if an account comes to us with any conversion data, we have a much higher rate of our success than just starting from square one. So I'm not going to tell you not to. You've had success with Facebook. That's good. That's gonna help Google hit the ground running because it can like remarket to all that website traffic. Did I freeze? Sorry.
So that was the follow-up. Very little Google ad spend. Now, a question from Emmanuel. What is your experience with account level negative keywords? So I've had a little bit of experience with some accounts. One account, there was a product that we were going after with Performance Max, and in the insights, it was all these keywords that had absolutely nothing to do with our product. And Google just kept going, and you could see impressions and clicks, and we went, no. So I just put it straight into account level. As soon as that feature came out, I put all those series of keywords in at the account level. Bang! It stopped all the terrible traffic, and we had a huge surge in. Oh, okay, it started going elsewhere. That's been a positive experience. We've also done it. I've also done it with a brand where we put the negative brand name of the account in as well, and it killed everything. Our PMax died, the brand campaign died, the search campaigns died. The clients wanted to say, hey, we just want to go after completely cold top of funnel traffic. We don't want to go after brand. We said, sure, we can try it. And after 7 days, I said, please turn it back on. I said, sure.
Well, I have a question about that, because I wonder, as you were talking, I'm thinking, I wonder if Google just thinks that there's no conversions anymore because maybe it was using data-driven attribution, and maybe it got used to using like last click, and it was relying on the brand to
Yes.
attribute and attract.
Yeah.
So maybe if you were to try that and you were looking at MER instead of ROAS, you would have found no change. I wonder.
I think it's a great test to run negative brand if you're not spending a lot of money, because you're basically retraining. You go, okay, do not go after my brand name. So it's going to go, okay, we're just going to go after non-branded search terms or non-branded traffic. It's got to completely relearn. So if you can afford to go to retrain the algorithm, it'd be a good test to run. But the test that we ran, it killed the performance everywhere. And we got North Beam, MER tanked, everything tanked.
Oh, so it killed the MER, not just the ROAS. So it wasn't an attribution thing.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. But in saying that, for some non-branded search terms, it worked well, because we were saying, because Google in Performance Max was going after these things that had nothing to do with the product. And we just said, no. And it wasn't converting. That was the thing. We had a solid 30 days of all these search terms. You know, in Performance Max, you see the insights and you can say, okay, well, there's the impressions, there's the clicks, no conversion value. Because people were clicking on the ads going, oh, that's what I'm looking for, and go to the product page and go, no, that's not what I'm looking for. And they just weren't converting. So that, for non-branded search terms, and it's completely irrelevant to your product, yes, it can work. It can be effective. Guy, double thanks. I'm working on more succinct. Good job. Arms of Andes. What kind of strategy would you recommend for an e-commerce brand with LTV customers? We sell hiking outdoor clothes. We are already doing PMax.
Wait, what does LTV stand for in this context? It can't
Lifetime
be lifetime
value. Well, I'm presuming what Arms of Andes is saying is that he's got a good customer base, high return customer rate. We sell hiking outdoor clothes. We're already doing PMax. So make sure you've got excellent CRM, follow-up email. Klaviyo's excellent. So you can, if you've got repeat buyers coming in, make sure you've got your back end. Try not to pay to get those people to buy. If they're coming in via emails or you got text message marketing, get a good agency or someone who's really good at that to maximize that return on your LTV, and then set up campaigns that's looking for new customers. So the strategy that John was talking about last week, standard shopping, is going after a lot of non-branded top of funnel traffic with Performance Max. But don't skimp on a good CRM and good email follow-up campaigns, especially if you've got a high repeat customer rate. Oh, that's gold. You know, and then you can afford to spend more on your first-time customers. If you know they're coming back and you know what those metrics are, you can spend more on new customer acquisition. And then what's the old saying that Dan Kennedy said? He who can afford to spend the most to acquire a new customer wins.
This is true.
There you go.
I agree
I
with
don't know
it.
if he actually said
just
that.
haven't heard it.
I might have just made that up. Extra info on the above. We are a product business with $40 to $80 products, AOV of around 70 to 100 USD. So what was that question?
Cool. So you're getting some percentage of the customers are coming back and buying again.
That was a starter PPC.
Yeah, that was a starter.
Yeah, that's the starter PPC waitlist. Yeah, I'm sure you'll receive a reach out like very soon, like I'm guessing within a week. I'd have to confirm with Yiska on that, but yeah, I wouldn't bother. I would just wait.
Always, whilst you're doing that too, try and see if there's a way you can increase your AOV. If you've got an e-com store, get a way to get order bumps, post-purchase, one-click upsells. If you can increase that AOV, and then again, if you've got a product line that lends itself to repeat purchases, you increase AOV and LTV, then you can spend more to acquire new customers on the front end with Google Ads.
That is the game, because it's an auction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you can spend more to get a new customer, it's happy days. We just got $1, guys, 99 cents.
Oof.
Oh, nice. Woohoo.
Is that Canadian too?
Canadian dollars too.
Fellow Canadian.
That's like $1.20 in my country.
Here you can see the hockey jersey in my background.
Aditya. I hope that I said that.
And we all know where Glen's from.
Yeah. What's hockey? Field hockey or ice hockey? I've been running a campaign for almost a month, and I always hear about GADS optimization on YouTube. Apart from adding negative keywords, what does it mean?
GADS optimization on YouTube?
All depends what campaign you're looking at. Performance Max or standard shopping or standard search or dynamic search. There's lots of ways you can optimize campaigns.
Like if you're talking about optimizing the videos themselves, I would make sure that, you can talk about the value in the first 5 seconds of the video. That's going to help when you're running ads to videos like that. If you can't get the main, like the brand name and what you're selling and why in the first 5 seconds, then people can just skip it and they're not going to be incentivized to watch. So you have to grab their attention right away. That's, I think, the biggest pain point, that people come to us with crabby videos. we'll run ads to this, but it doesn't work as an ad very well. It's like a how-to video.
You see that really well done. When there's a brand new movie that's just about to be launched in the cinemas and they start pushing it via YouTube, you'll see an ad come up and the first 5 seconds is something dramatic or something huge that happened in the movie for the first 5 seconds, and you go, whoa, and then bang, and they suck you in for the rest of the video. So to Regina's point, what's something that when someone's going, they've purposely clicked on a thumbnail or they're watching the video on something that they searched for, now your ad comes up. That first 5 seconds, what can you do? What information can you give to that person for them to go, oh, geez, what's this? That's it. It's that first 5 seconds, you want them to keep watching you.
Yeah.
I think we should also ask, sorry, Regina, you can go first.
Oh, I can't even remember what I was going to say. It's okay. You go first. I'll think about it.
Okay. I was just going to say, I'm going to assume right now we could take 2 approaches. We'll assume that this is PMax. If it's PMax and we're thinking about optimization for the videos, you can think of like Regina was saying with the content of the videos. Maybe you have a longer form video, a shorter form video, and then maybe even you have a size for shorts. So just basically making sure that you can fit within whatever placement's needed and go from there.
Yeah. Another good hack, since we're talking about videos, is if someone views your video, view means they stuck around past the first 5 seconds, put those viewers into your video remarketing campaign. even though they didn't go to your website, they watched a video past the first 5 seconds. They're warm. You want them to be in that remarketing campaign, video remarketing and display remarketing, so that, and I don't know if you can add that audience to a PMax signal. I don't know. PMax doesn't really do audiences anyways, but yeah, think about them as website visitors, like those two audiences combined.
Yep. Another good hack you can do if you've got a brand campaign is put that audience in an observation in your brand and see if they come back into buy a brand.
Oh, yeah. Observation audiences can help direct the algorithm's attention.
Yes.
Yep.
Carson, thanks for all the info so far. So, I mean, if you're selling a low-price e-com product, do you see PMax usually start working right away if it works, or can it really take 1K and spend to know?
Honestly, if you've spent $1,000 and haven't gotten a single sale and your average order value was $40, right? I think this was the same guy.
Yeah.
I would say something's majorly wrong.
Something's majorly wrong. Yeah. If you to spend $1,000 to not get a conversion on a $40 product, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. Yeah.
And I don't know, it could be anything. If your first thing is like, make sure your website looks exactly as slick and modern and like your competitors' websites. Like check out your competitors and just try to do like a me too. Is my Wi-Fi acting up? Sorry.
Nope.
Nope. Loud and clear.
Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some sort of tracking or attribution problem, because I think it would be odd unless you're selling a product no one knows about, no one's heard of, which is a whole different story. You're selling products that people are looking for already. There's an existing market and there's existing competitors for that product. It's weird, and you should check your tracking, because I bet you Google's getting conversions and you're just not seeing them or something.
Yeah. PPC builders, in terms of how you should to begin originate Google advertising plan, I believe traditional search, traditional top of funnel plus remarketing, both YouTube and display plus standard shopping, all separate silos. Part 2.
Oh, I forgot to listen. Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
Actually, yeah. So he's PPC's how to begin originate advertising plan, search, traditional top of funnel remarketing, both YouTube, display, standard shopping, all separate silos. Allows you to measure, adjust, decide based on data, then try and PMax with the good signals derived from traditional. Starting with PMax is silly.
Yeah. I tend to subscribe to that mode of belief, honestly. Personally, it's just that sometimes my team really loves PMax. So depending on the situation, I'll let them try PMax first. And if we see it's not working right away, we'll switch. So
it's nice to have control.
It is nice to have control.
Yeah. You can see conversion data coming in. Standard shopping as well too. You can go in every day and go, oh, you can add negative keywords in there if you want, and see which direction Google's going on certain products.
Yeah.
I like DSA. Because DSA, you can give that a URL, and then you can say, and not only that, DSA, you can do manual CPC, you can do ROAS, you can do target CPA. There's lots of ways. And I like to get in there and start massaging settings on smart bidding. Plus, you can add in a stack of extensions. There's your split test copy. There's so many different things that you can do with DSA, which you can't really do with PMax. So that's just my personal preference. Emmanuel, a different topic. How would you promote a laser engraving business for B2B? We can engrave pretty much anything on any type wood, leather, acrylic product.
We got to see a video of that. That's my first thing. Let's see.
Yeah.
So to me, that's
videos. So put that out there. Do so you're going to have a lead generation, obviously, Emmanuel, as have a call to action where people are filling out a form or calling you. And similar to what I was saying before, you're going to get those leads coming in and then have a secondary conversion set up to confirm those quality leads, train the algorithm on those confirmed leads, so that, and it's going to take a while for the algorithm to learn. But again, benefit. What's in it for me? Make some sort of video or something that is about what is your USP. why should someone use your laser engraving business? What's the benefit of your laser engraving business as opposed to someone else? Why are you better at doing wood, leather, and acrylic than someone else who can do it? Or are you the only one who can do that? Who knows? But
also,
isolate your USP and punch that out.
Yeah, totally. Also, there's this hack. So you kind of have to pull out all the stops. And when you're doing an engraving business, is it me that's freezing? It is me that's freezing.
No, you're coming through fine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. If you hear freezing on your end, just keep going. Everything's good over here.
Oh, good. The video's freezing on you. Okay. So, okay. You're selling probably bulk product that's also customized. So think about your pricing. Your pricing is going to be really variable, right? So if you're running, if you're running e-commerce ads to these products, make sure that there's a variable in each product that is engraving free price, one product, like as low as you possibly can get it. Because if you look at Google Shopping for these types of like customizable products, that's what the competitors can do, and that's what they will do, and they'll get a higher click-through rate because their price will be lower. Like you'll see them priced at like $1, and they're coming from China. You need to also have your price at like $1 per item. And you can do that by making a variant that has no engraving and it's just one product and it's like the bottom of the thing. Yeah. And that's the one that shows on the ads. Make sure that that's the one in the feed, the variant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Manuel and at PPC Builders, and what if standard shopping doesn't bring results after 3 weeks? Just keep on waiting.
I mean, again, it just depends on what you're selling and what your budget is.
Yeah.
I think you should look at your Shopify, or that's when you should start really looking into MER, just to make sure that there isn't an issue with attribution. Because sometimes you might not see the results that you're actually receiving in the back end there. But, if you have it running and you don't see your revenue increasing, like that incremental lift, then there's probably something wrong.
What you could also do is if you've got a standard shopping campaign running, depending on what you've got, if it's manual CPC, run a DSA beside it with the same URL and have a look at the search terms that are coming in and compare the search terms for shopping and the search terms for DSA and see if they're matching up. Ideally, what you would like, if you have got standard shopping and your DSA, you essentially, what could theoretically happen is you get 2 ads showing up, one for shopping and one for search. So you could always try that as well.
It looks like Emmanuel and PPC Builders are having a conversation back and forth. So Emmanuel's asking PPC Builders, why PMax? What if it's not working? Or why do the opposite of PMax? What if that's not working? And PPC Builders just replied, but it's like in a much later comment.
Oh, okay. We got 5 more minutes, so we'll punch through these last ones. For a large sneaker retailer, what ratio of shopping versus non-brand search seems reasonable? We're crushing with PMax, but rep is trying to convince client, go hard with smart bidding and broad match.
Obviously. That's what, don't listen to the rep. If you're crushing with PMax, don't listen to the rep. Why change what's working? They're obviously going to try to get you to do more automated stuff, more broad stuff, because they just want your money. So what ratio of shopping versus non-brand search? Oh, I don't know. That's always a good question, huh? Like sometimes the search isn't gonna, if you're doing like a PMax and you're doing search alongside it, sometimes the search will be feeding the PMax. So you won't see a good return on the search. Then you turn off the search and the PMax dies because the search can feed it. So I don't know that there's a golden ratio. You might have to play with it a little.
Yeah, you'd want it somehow, and this is hypothetical because it's not always easy to prove, but you want to try and prove what customer is coming from which. Like in theory, non-brand is going to be your cold traffic, and then PMax can be a mix. If PMax is truly like a bulk, like everything, I would probably up the dial on non-brand just because you're getting cold customers. But with that said, if your PMax campaign's doing really well and in the back end you're seeing true MER increase, then I think you just keep going with what's working.
Yes. What he said. Okay. Emmanuel, I've had clients that really had no success on Google. Facebook is doing a lot better, even ROAS 10. Maybe I just have to be patient. I haven't had much success with fresh GADS accounts. Have you got a brand campaign running, Emmanuel? Because if you're running Facebook, and this is, we see this consistently with Northbeam, and we've got accounts where we're running Google ads, and then they're on Facebook, and they're on TikTok and Amazon and all sorts of stuff. And then inside Northbeam, there's the settings where you can do, you can view the clicks only performance or the clicks and views. And 99.99% of the time, all brand gets stripped out of Google ads and is given to Facebook. So what theoretically should happen is Facebook gets all of the benefit of brand. So if there's an account that's running really well on Facebook, theoretically they should be coming back through brand. So I'd be setting up a brand campaign and seeing if that converts.
But also it is true that Facebook does take a lot of the credit for things. It also does the view through in 24 hours type of attribution tracking, which is a little misleading, but I get why they do it. However, I will say that like some industries do better on Facebook, and we've had many clients like that. Like if you sell like clothing or something where you need to be visual, you need to be on Instagram, you need to be in a feed. I will sometimes tell clients to do like 80% of their budget there and just 20% on Google, because with Google you have the ability to do remarketing like everywhere, like follow them around the internet, which is nice, but you don't need to be spending that much. It's basically like supporting and feeding the Facebook ads in certain industries.
And there's also, you could also just do your Google ads budget on brand, shopping, remarketing. You can do shopping and put a remarketing audience in there. You can do remarketing in YouTube and remarketing in display. You can just make every campaign about remarketing. People who are Googling your brand and just every other thing will just do remarketing. So, well, we've got 2 more questions, guys. Then we're going to have to pull the pin. So the second last question is in regards to the 1K. I mean, what would be the minimum spend I was referring to? Like, would you spend 500, 1K, 250 to properly test? Okay. So what would be the threshold that you would spend? What would you allocate as a testing budget until you went no more on a $40 product?
This is the $40 product. I don't know, but like it doesn't get a single conversion for $250. Would I be concerned? Again, is the product something people are looking for, or is it something where you're carving out your own market, or you have to get the algorithm to identify the niche? So these would sway my decision on that. But yeah, if you spend 500, I would start to be, without a conversion, I would start to be concerned. And then by 1,000, I would definitely be concerned. 250, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. It all depends if it's performance max too. How many impressions have you got? How many clicks have you got? What's your click-through rate? What's your average CPC? Like, we don't know any of those metrics. If you had a really high CPC and you're in a very competitive niche, 250 is not going to go too far. But if you've got a huge click-through rate, you're getting 6, 7, 8% click-through rate. Yeah, wow, that's pretty good. And you're not converting, something's wrong.
Yeah. I'm building off the back of that. I agree with Regina. I'd probably, after like $500 after that, I'd pull the plug. I'd want to look at channel information and see like, what are you getting conversions elsewhere, and why are you getting conversions elsewhere? And if you're getting conversions elsewhere but not within your Google ads, there's something within Google or the product, like within your Google ads that needs to be fixed.
All right, here's our lucky last one. If I had $1,000 daily budget for standard shopping and DSA, what split would you do? 80% standard shopping, 20% DSA?
Well, Is it is it? Oh, it's shopping. So yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what I would do. 80-20 when you're just starting out with $1,000. Mm-hmm.
Your budget, your clicks for shopping are historically always cheaper anyway. And the way that the ads are structured, shopping always comes up first. So you want to make sure you're at least always coming up in shopping. Make sure your title tags are tweaked, that they are optimized as best you can. Make sure your images look amazing. Make sure you got your descriptions dialed in. Optimize your feed as much as you can. Monitor your keywords inside your search terms, inside your standard shopping. But yeah, shopping is probably, it's going to give you the best return for your money, and your DSA more or less is assisting and helps. The DSA will feed off the standard shopping.
Yeah, and I will say, if we get a brand new account with $1,000, we often don't spend any money on search right away until the budget increases. We'll just do standard shopping and remarketing and brand. That's, with $1,000, it's all you really can do.
Yep.
Exceptions might be if it's like sometimes like certain we had a face moisturizer, for example, and people like to read about that stuff. It had like green tea in it, right? So that seemed to work on search because people want to like read blogs about green tea face moisturizers before they buy. So there are exceptions to the rule of not doing search, but 90% of the clients that come to us with $1,000, we don't run search right away.
All right, we are done. Appreciate the help from you. Thank you, Carson. Pleasure. Good luck with that, mate. Good luck with that test. Appreciate the help from you three. Pleasure,
Yeah.
PPC. Yes, Ecom. Appreciate the help. And thanks, Legend. Must be talking to you, Colby. Thanks, Legend.
Hey, I'll take all the thanks for this.
Cool. All right, guys. It's been fun. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
See you,
Bye.
Colby. See you, Regina. Bye.
Bye, everybody.